The 2025 Formula One season continues to surprise with developments that few could have predicted. Lewis Hamilton, the seven-time world champion who arrived at Ferrari as the great hope of the traditional Italian team, is facing a complicated period in red that may find its end much sooner than anyone imagined. At the same time, a young Brazilian talent has been gaining prominence on the grid and earning the respect of those who truly know the sport. But wait, because the narrative that is about to unfold transcends simple statistics and rankings. We're talking about explosive internal situations, comments that surprise the entire paddock, and a potential change of direction that could radically transform Ferrari's destiny. Let's begin with the concrete facts. Hamilton arrived at Ferrari surrounded by all the grandeur that a transfer of this magnitude deserves. After years of supremacy with Mercedes, the English driver decided to realize the desire of any racer, to represent the traditional team from Maranello. However, reality has proven to be quite distant from what was dreamed. In 14 races this season, Hamilton hasn't reached the podium even once. Exactly that. No podiums for one of the greatest winners in the history of the sport. Tension intensified even more after the Hungarian stage. Hamilton started only from 12th position, while Charles Leclerc secured Ferrari's first pole position of the season. The seven-time champion's dissatisfaction was so great that he couldn't disguise his disappointment. In statements that shook the Formula One environment, Hamilton repeatedly deprecated himself and even insinuated that Ferrari itself should consider replacing him. What generated the most impact was when Hamilton revealed that there are internal issues at Ferrari that aren't going well at all. These statements sounded like a red alert signal for those knowledgeable about the category. What exactly is happening inside the Italian team? Communication difficulties, more complex technical issues, or perhaps something linked to the internal organization of the team? The answer emerged partially through Fred Vasseur, Ferrari's leader. In a statement that generated even more controversy, Vasseur made comments that say a lot about the complicated relationship with Hamilton. According to the Frenchman, the British driver sometimes exaggerates the issues he detects in the car. Vasseur also stated that Hamilton's emotional reactions only aggravate the situation for the entire team. Visualize the situation. One of the most experienced and successful drivers in history being publicly questioned by his own team leader. Vasseur went to the point of establishing parallels between Hamilton and Nico Hülkenberg, mentioning that both are very demanding, but at least Hülkenberg showed up for work at 6:30 in the morning daily. The subliminal message is evident. Hamilton needs to commit more. Simultaneously, from the other end of the paddock, a young Brazilian driver is doing precisely the opposite, causing admiration in everyone with his maturity and performance. Gabriel Bortoleto, at just 21 years of age, arrived in Formula One through Kick Sauber, after winning both Formula 3 and Formula 2 in consecutive seasons. An achievement that few drivers have reached in history. And here emerges a personality who understands a lot about Formula One and business, Bernie Ecclestone. The former maximum leader of the category, at 94 years old, made statements that are resonating in the paddock. Ecclestone, who acknowledges having helped Bortoleto obtain his chance in Formula One, declared that Ferrari should wake up and observe the Brazilian's potential. Ecclestone's remarks were objective and precise. Bortoleto's excellent performance in a midfield team like Sauber should effectively alert Ferrari. For him, the next decision about drivers for the Italian team should be resolved with the Brazilian. It's a considerable statement, especially coming from someone with Ecclestone's background. And it's not just the former Formula One commander who is impressed with Bortoleto. Fernando Alonso, who is also the manager of the young Brazilian, made public praises that generated much repercussion. The two-time world champion stated that Bortoleto is the best newcomer of this generation and deserves much more recognition for the results he has been achieving. Alonso was even more direct in his criticisms of the lack of attention that Bortoleto receives from the international press. According to the Spaniard, if the Brazilian were English and had finished in 6th place with a Sauber, he would be in all the news. What he is accomplishing is exceptional, but goes unnoticed for reasons that go beyond the sport. The data confirm this perception. Bortoleto has scored points in 3 of the last 4 races, an impressive performance for a rookie driver in a team that fights in the lower part of the standings. Meanwhile, Hamilton, with all his experience and in a theoretically superior Ferrari, can't even reach the podium. But let's address the contracts and concrete possibilities. According to information circulating in Italy, Hamilton has ties with Ferrari until at least the end of the 2026 season, with a renewal option until 2027 that depends exclusively on the driver's decision. This indicates that Ferrari has little control over Hamilton's near future. However, there is a very real possibility that Hamilton himself will decide to retire at the end of 2026, especially if he continues unable to compete for victories. At 40 years old, the 7-time champion has already made it evident that he doesn't intend to race just to participate. He wants to win, and if that's not feasible, he may decide to end his career. And this is where the opportunity arises for Bortoleto. If Hamilton really leaves Ferrari, whether through retirement or a decision by the team itself, the young Brazilian would be in the ideal position to take one of the most desired spots on the grid. With Leclerc already established as the team's #1 driver, Ferrari could invest in a young, skillful driver with a thirst for winning. Ferrari's present situation raises important questions about the destiny of the team. The investment in Hamilton was enormous, not only financially but also in terms of expectations and marketing. Seeing this investment not produce the expected results is disappointing for all involved. In turn, betting on Bortoleto would be a calculated risk strategy. The Brazilian has demonstrated speed, regularity, and maturity, fundamental characteristics for anyone who wishes to succeed in a team of Ferrari's level. Additionally, having a young and growing driver can bring renewed energy to the team, something that seems to be lacking currently. What is most impressive about Bortoleto's journey is the way he arrived in Formula 1. Winning both Formula 3 and Formula 2 in consecutive seasons is no simple task. It's a feat that demonstrates not only talent, but also the ability to evolve quickly and adjust to different challenges. The question is, will Ferrari have the courage to make such a radical change? Dismissing a 7-time world champion, even if he is facing difficulties, to invest in a driver with less than a year of Formula 1 experience is not a simple decision. But sometimes the most complex decisions are those that bring the best results. Hamilton's case at Ferrari makes us think about how the sport can be cruel, even with the greatest champions. A driver who dominated the category for years, who broke records and made history, now finds himself questioning his own value and being publicly criticized by his team's leader. While Hamilton faces his internal conflicts and external pressures, Bortoleto continues doing what he knows best, driving quickly and impressing those who really understand the subject. The difference in moments between the two drivers couldn't be clearer. The question that remains is, will Ferrari wake up in time to realize that perhaps the solution to their problems doesn't lie in the past, but in the future? Bortoleto represents exactly that. Youth, skill, thirst for winning, and mainly a lot of room to evolve. What do you think about this possible change at Ferrari? Does Bortoleto really possess what is necessary to wear the red? And more importantly, do you believe that Hamilton can reverse this delicate situation, or are his days at Ferrari truly numbered? Share your opinion in the comments, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any news from the Formula 1 paddock, and hit the bell to receive notifications. The season is just heating up, and the surprises are only beginning.